Today is Tuesday, September 10th. This is Noreen Johnson, and here are the good news headlines of the day. Vice President Kamala Harris pledged during her presidential campaign in 2019 to use taxpayer money to fund sex change surgeries for illegal aliens locked up in detention, according to a largely ignored questionnaire that she filled out at the time. CNN's Andrew Kaczynski reported that the then senator indicated on the American Civil Liberties Union questionnaire that she supported decriminalizing federal drug possession, making drastic cuts to immigration and customs enforcement, and pledged to no longer detain illegal aliens. Harris was asked on the questionnaire if she, as president, would use executive authority to ensure that transgender and non-binary people who rely on the state for medical care, including those in prison and immigration detention, will have access to comprehensive treatment associated with gender transition, including all necessary surgical care. Her answer? Yes. Harris then claimed that it was important that transgender individuals who rely on the state for care receive the treatment they need, which includes access to treatment associated with gender transition. Vice President Kamala Harris has outlined her economic proposals on her website, addressing a wide range of issues, including taxation, inflation, raising the minimum wage, housing shortages, and cutting red tape. It's the first time the Harris campaign has outlined a detailed policy platform since President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign and Harris became the Democratic nominee. Harris's economic vision emulates many parts of the president's 2024 election strategy by pledging tax cuts for more than 100 million working and middle-class families and vowing to make wealthy Americans and large corporations pay their fair share. In recent weeks, the vice president has announced a flurry of proposals in speeches, such as a federal ban on price gouging and tax relief for small businesses. The latest campaign update attempts to establish a clear economic agenda ahead of the presidential debate tonight, September the 10th. The presidential candidates are neck and neck in the polls. And then this, a new report is shining the spotlight on the role that China plays in fueling the ongoing fentanyl crisis in the United States, calling for more action against the communist geopolitical foe from the federal government. The Heritage Foundation released a report, a copy of which was obtained early by Fox News Digital, called Holding China and Mexico Accountable for America's Fentanyl Crisis. The report by Andres Martinez Fernandez and Andrew Harding noted the massive numbers of deaths linked to the drug, which can be fatal in small doses and is estimated to have killed 75,000 Americans in 2023. Officials have frequently said that illicit fentanyl is created in Mexico using Chinese precursors and is then smuggled across the border by drug cartels. It is often laced in other drugs so that users do not know they are ingesting fentanyl. The report recommends that the U.S. strategy must accept that it lacks good faith partners in both the Chinese and Mexican governments. Instead, they argue that the U.S. should ask U.S. intelligence agencies to publicly expose Chinese involvement in fentanyl trafficking, including increasing penalties for financial institutions. In other news, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis addressed a brewing scandal in the Sunshine State as law enforcement officials are going to thousands of people's homes to see if they signed petitions to support putting a radical abortion amendment on the ballot. Amendment 4 is so extreme and dangerous that the state of Florida has deployed resources to warn voters how the amendment actually puts women's health and safety at risk. DeSantis said at a press conference on Monday that law enforcement has launched an investigation after receiving a wide range of complaints about the group that submitted the petition for the amendment to appear on the ballot. He said this, and turns out this group submitted dozens of petitions on behalf of dead people. They saw those petitions being submitted. There are other petitions that have actually been validated, where the signatures do not match the voter file. So they were getting all of those complaints and they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're following the law and they're ensuring that anyone that broke the law is going to be held accountable. And then today, September 10th, marks the feast day of St. Nicholas of Tolentino. He had a reputation as a great preacher and confessor, and was also known for obtaining healings for many of the sick who lived in Tolentino, where he spent the last 30 years of his life. He was canonized by Pope Eugene IV in 1446. St. Nicholas, pray for us. And those are your daily good news headlines. This is Catholics for Catholics. May God bless you, and may God bless the USA.